You know, there's something really surprising about people like Johnny Depp. When you look at him, the roles he's played, the way he's carried himself all these years, you get this sense of someone fearless. Someone who's seen everything, done everything, and doesn't flinch. Right? I mean, here's a man who's been Captain Jack Sparrow. The Mad Hatter. He's been the ultimate rock star without even trying. He stood up in court with the world watching, hearing people say things about him that would break most of us, and yet he never seemed to crumble. But the truth is, even someone like Johnny has quiet fears. And the thing is, his biggest fear isn't about himself at all. It's about his son, Jack. And when you hear what he revealed recently, what he really feels deep down about Jack's future, it's not just touching. It's heartbreaking. And yet, it's also so incredibly human. Because at the end of the day, no matter who you are, how much you've accomplished, or how strong you seem to the rest of the world, you're still a parent when the lights go out. And that changes everything. Johnny has been through some of the harshest storms you can imagine. We all saw it play out, didn't we? His name splashed across headlines. His private life ripped apart on television. He became a punchline for late-night shows, a topic of heated arguments online. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about him. Some people believed him. Some didn't. But through all of that, there was one person he thought about constantly. And that was his son. Because no matter what was being said about Johnny, Jack would still have to walk through life carrying that name. And that's what scares him the most. It's not the courtrooms. Not the articles. Not even the memes, that it's knowing his boy will have to live with the consequences of a battle he never asked to fight. And Johnny said it in a way that really stays with you. He said, he'll have to live with the truth. Whether he wants to or not. Think about that for a second. It's such a simple sentence, but it's full of so much pain. Because every parent, every single one of us, knows what it feels like to want to shield your child from the world. You want to wrap them up in your arms and keep them safe forever. But you can't. No matter how much you love them, you can't control what happens when they step outside. And for Johnny, that's the hardest part, because Jack isn't like him. Jack is quiet. He's private. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He's nothing like the larger-than-life figure his dad has always been. And in some ways, Johnny loves that about him. He even admires it. But it also makes him worry even more, because he knows how cruel people can be. He knows how unforgiving the world is when it decides who you are. And no matter how much Jack tries to stay out of it, no matter how much he minds his own business, there will always be people who see the name Depp and already have their minds made up. And as a parent, that thought eats you alive. We've all been there, haven't we? Lying awake at night, wondering if we've done enough. Wondering if our kids will be okay. Wondering if our mistakes will follow them, no matter how much we try to protect them. It's something that never really goes away. Even someone like Johnny, who stood tall while the world tore him apart, isn't immune to that fear. And yet, what makes him so remarkable is how he's handling it. Instead of crumbling, instead of running away, he's decided to show Jack what it means to keep moving forward. Because that's what dads do. They keep fighting, even when they're scared. Not for themselves, but for the little eyes watching them. For the son sitting quietly in the next room, just trying to figure out who he is. Johnny knows he can't erase the headlines. He can't silence the whispers. But he can show Jack how to stand up straight, even when the world tries to break you. And you know what? Jack has been quietly learning. You don't see him in the tabloids. You don't see him chasing cameras. Instead, he's stayed close to his mom. He's focused on his art. On his music. He's been quietly building a life that feels right to him. And Johnny couldn't be prouder. In fact, he shared this little story not too long ago, one of those tiny moments that stick with you. He said one of his favorite sounds in the whole world is just sitting at home, hearing Jack play guitar in the next room. No cameras. No crowd. No applause. Just his son. And his music. That's what matters now. Not the roles. Not the red carpets. Not the applause. Just that quiet sound of Jack playing, reminding him that there's still something good in all of this. And maybe that's the real lesson here. We can't erase the world's cruelty. We can't stop our kids from hurting. And no matter how much we want to, no matter how hard we try, we can't build walls high enough to keep the world from reaching them. And that's the hardest truth to accept as a parent, isn't it? You spend years holding their little hands, wiping their tears, telling them everything's going to be okay. You promise them safety because that's what they need to hear. You tell them monsters aren't real, that bullies don't matter, that everything bad will somehow disappear. But deep down you know better. You know the world has sharp edges. You know people can be cruel. You know that no matter how much love you pour into them, someone, somewhere, will try to convince them they're not enough. And that thought, it breaks you a little. Because all you really want is for them to walk through life with that same innocence they had when they first learned to smile. That same light in their eyes. That same belief that the world is kind, but the world isn't always kind. It never was. And Johnny knows that better than most. He's seen what it's like to have people turn their backs on you. He's seen what it feels like to have strangers talk about you as if you're not even human. He's lived through the kind of pain that leaves marks you can't see on the outside. So when he looks at his son, when he looks at Jack, he knows. He knows there will come a day when someone says something to him he doesn't deserve. Someone will look at him, see his last name, and decide who he is before he even opens his mouth. And Johnny can't stop that. But here's the beautiful part. What he can do, what all of us can do, is teach them to find their own music. Because music, in its own quiet way, saves you. It gives you something to hold on to when everything else feels like it's falling apart. It gives you a place to go when the world feels too heavy. And for Jack, that's exactly what it's become. He's not chasing fame. He's not fighting to prove himself to anyone. He just sits in his room, guitar in his hands, and he plays. For himself. And Johnny? Johnny says there's nothing in this world more beautiful than hearing his son play. That's what healing sounds like. And that's the gift Johnny's given him, not just the love of music, but the strength to turn to it when life feels unfair. That's what we can all give our kids. We can show them what it looks like to walk through fire and come out stronger. We can let them see us stumble, fall, even break a little, but still get back up. We can show them that scars don't make you weak. They mean you survived. Because that's what kids really need from us, not perfection, but proof. Proof that you can hurt and still be okay. And above all else, we can love them so fiercely that no headline, no gossip, no stranger's opinion can ever shake them. Because love, real love, is louder than all of that. It's louder than the whispers, louder than the doubts, louder than the mistakes. And that's what Johnny's doing. Every single day. He's showing Jack what it looks like to keep going. To believe in yourself when no one else does. To play your music even when no one's listening. And the thing is, it's not just Johnny. It's every parent who sits up late worrying if their child will be okay. Every parent who quietly swallows their own fear so their child can feel safe. Every parent who whispers, "I love you," even when they're terrified inside. It's something every parent watching this can relate to. Because we've all been there. We've all looked at our kids and thought, "I wish I could take every hurt, every heartbreak, every cruel word and carry it myself." But we can't. So instead, we do what Johnny's doing. We love them. We teach them. We stand tall, not because we're unafraid, but because we want them to see it's possible. That we show them that no matter how bad it gets, there's always a way forward. And maybe, just maybe, we teach them to hear their own music above the noise of the world. That's what really matters in the end. Not what the world says about them, but what they believe about themselves. And as long as they know they're loved, as long as they know they're strong, no one can take that away. So even though we can't stop our kids from hurting, we can make sure they know they're never alone. We can make sure they know there's always a song waiting for them in the quiet. And that's enough. That's everything. And that is what Johnny's teaching his son. And maybe, in his own way, he's teaching all of us too. We all want our kids to be happy. We all want them to feel safe. But more than anything, we want them to know how strong they are, even when we're not there to remind them. And that's what Johnny is teaching Jack. By living his truth. By standing tall. By showing him it's possible to survive the world's judgment and still hold on to who you are. And I think that's something we could all take to heart. Because life isn't about avoiding scars. It's about showing your kids how to carry theirs with pride. So here's what I want to ask you. If you could say just one thing to prepare your child for the world, what would it be? What's the one piece of advice you'd give them, knowing how hard it can be out there? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment below. Share your story. Because no matter what your answer is, just by thinking about it, just by caring, you're already doing more for your kids than you realize. And if this story touched you, if it made you see Johnny in a different light, there's another one I think you'd love. His quiet Sunday message to his fans, it's something you won't want to miss. It'll leave you smiling. I promise. So when you're done here, go watch that next. And hey, if you enjoyed this little moment we shared today, would you mind hitting the like button? It really helps more people see these stories. And if you want to keep hearing more about the quiet, human side of the people you thought you already knew, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for spending some time here today. And remember, even the strongest names carry scars. But they also carry love. So before you go, tell someone you love them. You never know how much they need to hear it. We'll see you in the next one.